Alright, video. I hit the button, so it's going to have to be one. Not really prepared or any of that stuff, but just been thinking about conversation between me and Piero, and we're doing this let's work on some sort of save the world project and blah blah blah. And, it's kind of related to the idea first of, elevating the conversation even on YouTube, creating some sort of mechanism to make philosophical debate more productive. I would argue first priority. Make it so it's actually advances the argument, perfects it, makes it more perfect. In a sense that there's a reality here, and there's a lot of nonsense in the arguments, lots of fallacious arguments, lots of noise in the conversation, and we have to do that signal thing. We have to refine this thing, filter this thing, and come up with machinery or a mechanism that can glean out of all this drivel that we exchange, extract the real pieces of gold, so to speak, the solid bits, the unmushy stuff. And this is true of all perspective, all conversation, all point of view. So there's lots of stuff in the past that you could say had some value, crossfire, firing line, different ways of people interacting, and now it's all this breakfast club kind of news, where it's a little show people, just dance on the keys, so to speak, and it can't get more trivial and vacuous and not even close to deep enough to get to a truth or to do the truth justice. So there's lots of ways to metaphor this. I like the whole gladiator idea, the idea of building the Colosseum that the battlefield of ideas deserves. Some sort of some sort of place is the go-to place to get the job done. To create a fair fight, a good fight. Vlogger was sort of an effort to do some of this, and so it's going to be it's intended that we push it again, start to see if we can roll this ball, try a Kickstarter or something to try to create a little bit of resources for perfecting it. My vision is some sort of documentary TV show kind of style thing, where arguments are gleaned into the right and the left on every subject, the yes and the no as the answer to the question, and the solidest argument doing that. And so I would say that it would be done on both as a commercial product and as a book. Okay, books are less popular than the easier to consume, just turn it on, have it talk to you kind of thing. So it'll have, it'll use media in all of its manifestations. So my idea would be first a wiki page that for both sides of the argument, that's editable by the people who are trying to make the argument in support of, and that would be a whole kind of editorial, monitored, competitive mechanism for this written argument, and then there'll be this produced argument that's going to be more visual and biting in all those artistic kind of ways, performance enhanced, let's call it. And that would be obviously the other side of it. And then the whole idea of creating a jury to decide if this trial has the evidence for conviction. And the idea would be that, two ideas enter, one idea leaves with integrity, and the other one leaves humiliated, dead, metaphorically. I certainly would love if it was an actual life and death struggle, but we don't need to actually kill people, but I wouldn't be against it. But yeah, to make it as real and to take responsibility for the fact that all of this does matter. Our broken politics, our broken economics, our broken systems do in fact harm, destroy, kill people every day. Doing this sloppy, doing this selfishness first ideology, the commercialism, all this stuff is a huge tax on our productivity. We don't do anything the right way. We do everything in some silly, compromised, putridly inefficient way. Our whole civilization is just based on noisy chaos rather than any discipline and, truth, disciplined by something called the truth. Our logic, our reasoning, and all these things have to be given more value in our culture. And the intent is to show just how easy it is to do that, just to show that we don't have to live by this drool that's dripped on us by the media, the corporate interests, the advertisers, the propagandists, the people who want to keep us stupid and distracted and preoccupied with pigeonholes, labels. It's just totally destructive to us sitting here. I think the majority of people just want a fair game. And the idea will be to demonstrate that it's possible to create these things called fair and open and honest and accountable and scrutinizable and all of that crap. No bullshit, no propaganda, no lies, no manipulations, no $2 million hidden salaries for your daughter. No fucking bullshit. And that's all we're given by these self-interested lying scum that pretty much define the rest of the world. They don't care about winning a fair game. They just want to win, and they cheat wherever possible. I mean, all that shit doesn't have to be part of our game. We can have a game that's open and honest, and if you play an honest game yourself, you'll be rewarded. That kind of. This is just the general theme of the, bibble babble going into this thing. I'm intending to write something, which is annoying because I've got so much shit to do, but I don't need another project. But see, I can sort of fold this in to all the other projects. So I would say that the first step is creating this coliseum for the battle of ideas, and the iteration of that, the next step in that procedure is this whole creation of a we the people kind of forum where there's no interested party but getting a job done. And so the idea would be to maybe create not-for-profit business, create to extend this to creating more stuff, more things that would just take all of this I want to be a billionaire crap out of our economy and make it more about people exchanging real value, doing fair and honest barter instead of all this bullshit. Like even subjects like so in the comments, if you want to list some resolved kind of questions, resolved, is advertising a good way to finance anything ever in the universe? Should intelligent people rely on 15 or 30-second commercials to decide how good a product is or how worth it is buying? Or should they be able to go to the producer's site and buy it from the producer and know who the producer employs and how much the producer pays people and how the producer makes the product? And should that be how we decide what we'll buy, what we'll invest in? Who's getting rich when I buy it? Who are you paying? Are you paying Michael Jordan, or are you paying the people making the fucking product? That kind of thing. That's the world we could have. But I'm just saying that question in itself is a question not going to be asked. The media is not going to play with that one, because they all live on that huge let's be ignorant tax, and that's all it is. Everybody pays it, whether they look at an ad or whether they block ads. It doesn't matter. We're all paying for it because it's the cost of doing business. The cost of doing business is all the businesses have to paint some jackass sign, and they have to keep trying to shove the sign in your face to say, buy me, buy me, buy me. And so instead of you choosing what you're going to buy, you're just basically waiting until a sign you can't stand, one that's not totally offensive, one that has Cute Kitty on it. You say, okay, I'll buy from Cute Kitty. Or I'll buy from Funny Frog, or Stupid Lizard. And that's all you're doing. You're not buying based on any kind of knowledge of what you're buying, any kind of being an informed consumer. It's not about having informed consumer. It's about having fooled sucker. We duped you. It's like buying from Trump, right? Trump's proud that he has snookered and shammed and fooled people and written contracts with all kinds of fine print that, aha, I fucked you. That's people who think that's how the world should be run are people we should be running over. That should be another subject resolved. Should we actually just shoot trolls in the head, or should we torture them first? I mean, it might be a worthwhile question to ask. But yeah, there's no we can have so much better a world just by giving honest, decent, fair people some opportunity to demonstrate that they exist. That, they're not some tiny minority of 17 people on the internet. That it really is in the core of most people. It's in there. It's sitting right in there. A little bit of frustration where they say, I just want an honest game, please. Can I have a checkerboard where the checkers don't fly in my eye, and there's not all this fucking chicanery, and there's dog do, and there's this and that, and it's all tricks and traps and bullshit. Can we just play a fucking honest game? I'm sure there's people out there. That's all they want. They just want a fair fucking game. And we can make it that way. We can demonstrate it can work that way. And by creating this coliseum, this place for ideas to be ground up, and we can show that, look, you can create rules, you can create a hierarchy, you can create a reward and punishment system that is a very honest, in the sense of the labels are fair, the pigeonholes are appropriate. That kind of thing, and that's all you really want to do is dissect something, find its essence, and appropriately describe it, honestly describe it. Flat earthers are idiots. It's a fact. It can be demonstrated. They should be properly humiliated, and it shouldn't. The noisemakers should be appropriately labeled as what they are. The people who constantly and perpetually cheat the truth. Alex Jones. Just ignore the facts, please. Never found a fact he didn't mind ignoring. And yeah, that kind of thing. But yeah, and then I guess the other angle to that is there's subjects are sometimes complicated. I mean, there's lots of pieces that are moving, in terms of how you deal with a problem. How do you solve the debt problem or this or that? I mean, this obviously just saying something stupid like, well, let's just default on it. Well, that's not too bright. It's a little more complicated than that to unwind the mess we're in. So obviously, some subjects, some answers are going to require more than a little bit of conversation, to work your way up to the level, say what's first step, what's second step, what's third step, what's fourth step. So, and then all these subjects will be kind of woven that way, in the sense that there's no point in talking about artificial intelligence until you get past hurdles like abuse of nanotechnology, and all this that will be gleaned out of all of this also is the understanding of the hierarchy of priorities, and the idea of what needs to, that you can't, you have to put all the ingredients in the bowl and mix them. You can't pretend that you can outlaw some of the ingredients and end up with the same cake, kind of a thing, or whatever the appropriate metaphor is. So anyway, so it's just we appear to be remotivated. This will work in conjunction with other things we've already done. Pierrot's done a couple of annotating style tools and for response videos, this and that. Maybe some of those pieces can be put into this. I got these different toolbar things that I've worked on. And we'll try to integrate all of that into tools that are useful in and of themselves, but that really have the functionality of organizing conversation, organizing the arguments that make a conversation, and placing those in hierarchies of relevance and meaning and substance and all of that kind of stuff, and having them actually go through this process of testing. So I guess you can sort of think of it, me and Old Fan talked about a life on trial, but the idea of just all propositions, all ideas should be tried, and there should be a court where ideas are on trial. And so that's kind of the idea. And through that process itself, even suggesting something like, should we have flying cars, or whatever it would be, even the robot cars, these arguments can be made, and it can be understood what the liabilities are, and whether there is enough productivity to be gleaned to justify the risks you're being exposed to, and all of that kind of stuff. But that would be the intent, is to reduce the arguments into real, stark, what is this, how does this really advance the human condition? And ultimately I would argue that some of this conversation is going to come down to that final argument of should the first priority be to minimize the mess we're making rather than trying to clean up messes. The first priority might be to prevent messes, and then start trying to figure out if we can make this thing work. Maybe the first step is to not not keep making broken, and then figure out whether the broken can be truly prevented, or that we can acquire a state of existence where there isn't enough, there isn't too much pain for too little gain. So it is like I said, it's still based on my impression that people really do want to be intelligent. They don't want to be fools. They don't want to be moronic and silly or stupid, and that you can, there's one reality here, and we really should, as intelligence organisms, be able to say what's within the realm of reasonable perception? Are you really allowed to see Tinkerbell standing in your driveway and argue that Tinkerbell exists? Is it really something you have a right to sensibly think that other people should be expected to respect that as a fact for you? You know, this idea of personalizing reality and saying I have my own personal reality. Even that can be a resolved question. Are people entitled to have their own personal reality? And I think that's an argument that can be made that no, you know, beyond if you want to talk to your toes and pretend they're, you know, animated conscious beings, well, that's probably okay, but you can't sell it as a truth in the rest of the world. You want to talk to your dogs, it's okay, yeah, as long as they're not telling you to go kill people. Well, as long as you're not paying attention when they tell you to kill people. Well, anyway, I'm getting a little far afield because that's just getting into people that are fucking insane, and we should be able to separate people who have some hope of being reasonable from people who are hopelessly deluded. And that might be another benefit, is to actually label people who are compulsive noisemakers and compulsive troublemakers and compulsive useless sacks of shit who just want to basically smear shit on all of us. Since they're shitty, they want to just make everything else shitty. So yeah, that would be another function here. You know, but yeah, there's no, frankly, I just think the idea of trying to create fairness and just applying it to all these different systems just can't fail as a conceptual idea. Honest, open, fair, you know, just no manipulation. No, I'm not going to cheat you. Okay, it's not going to be like I get to talk with a, you know, bigger microphone. No, you know, a fair fight, and that can be achieved. It can be shown. We can make it visible what it looks like, and you know, demonstrate that this can be done. That everything doesn't have to be a byproduct of a bunch of self-interested people manipulating, distorting, and perverting every tool and every product to their advantage, to serve their will to cheat. Yeah. Yeah. And I think the truth can, I guess that's the other part of this, there's I think there is a rational perspective that's obviously more reasonable, and I think the truth can win in a fair fight. I don't think propaganda has any power in an informed, well-fought arena. It's hopeless, in my opinion. It can't survive without its cheats. So if you take away the cheats, the logical fallacies, the appeals to emotionalism, all the other bullshits, the idea that you're not allowed to insult bad ideas, you know, whatever, the rules of some sort of, you have an obligation to respect all opinions because somebody has one, but somehow it's respectable. These kind of notions are just notions. They don't have anything to do with reason or logic, and perhaps that's the first fallacy, that you're entitled to anything called respect for anything other than your right to compose an argument. You know, you still have to defend it. So there's lots of, like, we talked about some of these different angles, but the idea would be even like in a courtroom, there's rules. You can't just walk into a courtroom, sit on the witness stand, say, I think that guy's guilty because he looks guilty to me. I mean, that would be bullshit. Or show a picture of your little 7-year-old daughter or something and show her crying, saying, my daughter's very sad that you're going to convict him. Some kind of, just nonsense arguments that have nothing. They don't advance the truth. They don't advance anything. They're just intended to change the subject and distract, distort, pervert, for a narrow purpose, not the purpose of the truth winning. And when people are obviously doing something to evade the truth, to cheat it, that has to be shown, and they have to lose points for that. There has to be a reward and punishment. So anyway, that's the other element of this. Is the whole point of me saying all this crap is the idea is that it's to make a product that's interesting and publicly consumable, unlike my videos. Something that's more that does pull people in because there's something at stake. There's like a game show, or like the old Colosseum with the gladiators. Something real at stake. Give people something. I mean, it's in a sense, it's a cheat that we have to do this. That you have to make it appeal to people's tastes, their sensibilities, their hunger for vicarious competition. But that's the fact of the world. The human race has been eating, donuts and cupcakes and potato chips for hundreds of years, and so all they know is snack food. And if you're going to try to convert them to eating real food, you're going to have to do it by steps. And yes, the hope would be that eventually you create a civilization of people that have a real hunger and a passion for the truth, for understanding detail, for understanding the nuances and the complexity of many subjects, and that they actually have a passion to understand how to play their life well. Give them some understanding of the fact that they're part of this, that we're all part of this. We're all making the future. Right now, you're making it. Right now, you're influencing, touching people, and changing destinies, and you're doing it totally randomly and in a chaos way and in a ill-informed way. And we all would like a better roadmap, a clearer map that defines what we're doing on this planet. Are we just making messes, or are we cleaning them up? Are we paving roads, or are we digging potholes into them? Are we productive, or are we destructive? And I think that is a context that everybody has to start to appreciate, that their life is more than how many potato chips did I eat, how happy was I. Your life is everything you stepped on, every molecule you sucked in, every smell you excreted. Your life is a lot more than what you feel or what you experience. And we're all responsible for accounting for ourselves and accounting for what did we do here. Did we leave a pile of shit, or did we dig some gold? Or whatever the suitable metaphor would be for some kind of value. Did we save lives, or did we put them at risk? And that ultimately should be an appeal that any rational, reasonable person can appreciate. That appeal to your productivity, okay, should inspire human beings to wish to be better than they are. And if they can do it while they're being entertained, all the better, right? If they can do it easy, if you can make the pill as benign as penicillin, You know, you don't want to cure the disease of ignorance. You have a choice, right? You can do this penicillin pill that just swallow it, no problem, or you can do it with chemotherapy. I'm just saying we sort of have an ability to make the medicine less hostile, and it's kind of important to do that as a practical matter. I'm not saying I like having to do that. I'm just saying it's pragmatic. It's sort of the obligation if you want to get the job done, and I think we can do that without compromising anything in terms of the value of the cure. We can cure the disease with a benign medicine, and even a tasty one, in my opinion. And we just need a little bit of this. I don't know exactly what the ball is going to look like that's going to roll, but the idea is it's a 50c3, not for profit. The idea is that it gets bigger, and it only feeds its momentum. It doesn't do anything else. It has a direction and a purpose, and the purpose isn't I'm a billionaire. None of that. The purpose is it gives us all a way to make our lives more meaningful and purposeful, and where we can actually think and believe with some sort of honesty that we're able to make some sort of contribution to a better future. Something that simple. Alright, so this is enough blah blah blah. Whatever, comments, blah 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 from the sorry, but yeah, I mean, the average YouTube account holder is pretty much the definition of the scumbag that I would like to out and reveal. They're the ones I think are going to get the sword in the Colosseum. But regardless, we'll see how it goes, step at a time, and all that crap. So I'm going to work on maybe a Kickstarter page, and a write-up anyway of some of the basic themes of the basic idea, and we'll see what happens. But the idea is for us, me and Piero, to be able to make tools and to have enough money to, say, hire people to do certain production elements, graphics, this, that, or the other, whatever is necessary to make this thing publicly acceptable, and move it forward and advance it where it can be consumed by our fellow Americans and world occupiers and such. Something like that. Yeah. So regardless, so the point is I was thinking of a Kickstarter for like I put a minimum of like $100,000 or something. So obviously we'll do it. I'm going to do it, whether we get money or not. The point is we just, the idea is you can try to do it, with toothpicks. I mean, I can try to build the Queen Mary with toothpicks. It's, probably not going to work, but I can try. So there's no point in not trying. But yeah, the idea would be that, yes, it'd be better if we could make this out of like real ship materials and that kind of stuff. But I will be pointed in this direction either way. So it's not critical to the agenda. I was already pointed in this direction. Like I said, me and old Fan have been working on projects and things, and so it's just trying to motivate enough, maybe some other people to get involved and try to, like I said, it's it's one thing to have a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing stuff, but sometimes it's better to have people who actually know what they're doing do it, and then it gets done right. But anyway, that's a whole, it's not like any of us have to be shipbuilders, right? No. It's it's a little bit important sometimes. But we'll see. So anyway, this is sort of deja vu, sort of been motivated in the past, and then kind of just blahs, because it's all hard work. It's a lot of work. It requires investment of time and energy and all of these things, and it's just hard to maintain that when there's just no. Obviously you're not getting paid for it. So it gets tough to do it as a part of life you're struggling to get through yourself. But it's important, I think, and it's there to. I'm just saying it's there to grab. I mean, it's just unfortunate that we don't know some billionaire we could threaten with terrorism for money or something. I mean, not that I would. Yeah, I know that's probably against the law, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I personally knew a billionaire, because I'd just be so like, God, you disgusting piece of shit. How can you sit on all this money and do nothing valuable with it? I mean, Lamborghinis and gold-plated marble toilets. I mean, fuck you. Cunt. But yeah, it just doesn't seem possible. There's just so much to get done in this world, and it doesn't really take that much, in my opinion, to do it. And everything that exists, in my opinion, can be out-competed. I mean, if you give a few of these people on YouTube control of a network, a cable channel for a month, I think they could wipe out. Just wipe everybody else out. Just wipe them out. Because it's crap. Everything on TV is crap. 99.9999%. Tiny percentage of it has any real value. Is anything I would consider worthy of human consumption. It's not food. It's just junk. Tripe. Crap. Gruel. Anyway. So yeah, I just don't know. This is just so, I think it's just so doable, but we'll see what happens. Probably is, I don't know. Anyway, so that's the mindset at the moment. Just thought I would throw it. This is what I'm doing, and leave it at that. Yeah, so that's enough for now. Pretty much.